Can you hear? Yeah, it's working, I think. Can you hear Marisa, Denise? Hello? It says that there's some buzzing. I don't know what to do about buzzing. Is it better here or here? Thank you. I'll have him keep it as close to his mouth as possible.
But I'm looking. We're all searching.
The closer to your mouth, the less the feedback, they said.
The closer, the less. There's a lot. I love y'all. I love y'all. Anything you want to do today? No requests? Okay. Neck and shoulders. Let's do it. All right, let's play around. We'll kind of, we'll kick it up a little bit, but I'll honor the season. And we were talking the other day. Most of us feel tired, right? These are the dark days. There's not a lot of light. You're most likely supposed to feel a little bit tired these days, right? Just like in summer, you feel a little more hyped up. Kind of the play back and forth, right? So we'll honor that. We'll kind of maybe hit the mat a little bit more today, and we'll kind of play in that realm, and we'll kind of see where it goes. Um, let's do it. Take a nice seat. Close the eyes. Sit up tall. Take a couple breaths. This is one of our special places. The other day I got home and it was kind of late and I wanted to get to the beach and there just wasn't a lot of time and I only had maybe, 20 minutes before the sun went down and Jess looked at me and she was like, get your shit on and go. And I was like, you know what? All right, let me go do it. You got to make the most of those little moments, right? And I came back and yeah, it was only half an hour, but it was a great half an hour, right? It was a half an hour that I was about to give up. And those are your choices, right? And I talk about that all the time. You all know I don't believe in the everybody gets the trophy thing, right? Everybody gets the opportunity. And then you do the work, And then you get the trophy, right? You get the reward. And we see that in our practice all the time. When you put in the work, you're going to see a result. In the smallest of things, in the way you stand up a little bit taller, right? The way you move through your day, the energies that you express, the energies you're willing to receive. There's going to be a lot of moments today that are going to be quick, but we're going to be able to make the most of them. Think of your vinyasa, right? If mindlessly, it would be just moving this little flow for, maybe about 10 seconds, and you put these couple moves together, and you go forward and you go back. But when you're really deep in your practice, and you understand what the idea is supposed to be, that you're here in the moment, and you feel what it's like to come forward to your plank, and you feel what it's like to lower into your chaturanga, right? And come into your cobra and work your way back. But you do that consciously, mindfully. You do adjustments. We talk a lot about, in life, 3 seconds isn't really a long time, but in yoga, 3 seconds is a long time. You can get a lot done in those 3 seconds. Start here with your breath. Just listen to yourself breathe. It'll be maybe 2 or 3 seconds for your inhale and 2 or 3 seconds for your exhale. We start those little refinements. One of them is, right, where we count the breath out. There's the 2 or 3 seconds again. And we match that so we have a balanced action. Right, just like we slowed down the beginning of the inhale and we push more on the end of the exhale to keep that timing within each half of the breath. And you work it all the way up to Ujjayi, where the air begins to rebound off the back of the throat. Feel that posture kick on a little more. Sit up tall again. Lean back. Let the head and the throat slide back. Feel the air fill the body. Next inhale, let the arms lift. And let the exhale bring the fingertips and the knuckle pads to root. The heels of the hands lightly touch. And now we bring that breath to the space between our palms. It travels to our heart and back out before us. And one time together to initiate our practice. Together the sound of Om. All together. Deep breath in. We softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. Inhale, lift the head, open the eyes, release the hands. All right, let's start on puppy dog. So puppy dog version of hips up on top of the knees. So it looks like this, they're stacked up. Sometimes it's like this. I like the version that's up a little more. It's a little more of like a little lesser weight-bearing downward dog. So we're starting to turn on some of these muscles. Now just look forward here. Take a look at your hands, right? I want my hands. Pointer fingers are straight forward or turned out a little bit. I don't want them to turn in. Start to hug the hands in. Start to look and see your arms energizing, like the muscles are turning on as you hug in. And then you start to lift them up. Now pull your belly in, pull your shutters closed. Keep your throat, like the back of your neck, sliding up towards the ceiling. But now soften your chest down towards the mat a little bit. And you get that nice peel coming up the arms, coming up those side bodies. You're connecting to the core by pulling the belly in and the shutters closed. And then soften a little bit more. Feel the chest starting to peel open here. Keep breathing into that space. Feel from the hips to the armpits. That's those side bodies. And then as you look forward, TP the fingers on the right hand, thread the left hand underneath. Take that little twist here. You're trying to get like the back of that left shoulder to the mat, the best that you can. So if you need to, you can always use your blanket or use your block to boost up that little bit. Now maybe take that right elbow to the sky just a little. It's going to open up the space. Now you can really start to peek underneath that right arm.
And then inhale, come back to center. Soften down the middle. Pull the belly in. Pull those shutters closed. Feel how the stretch changes when you do that. Then TP the fingers on that left hand. Thread that right hand underneath. Palm up. Now keep that twist above the waist. So we don't want that right hip to drop down on us. So keep pushing down into that right knee. And then maybe take that left elbow to the sky. You'll start to open that space. And then you could peek under. Feel that big twist happen in the upper back. Then inhale, come back to center. Soften down the middle. Next inhale, come up, all fours, hands and knees. So we're hands an inch or two in front of our shoulders, knees an inch or two behind our hips. Build up that low mountain. Feel that power starting to come over the body. So you're feeling the hug in. Feel the stability that you get from that. Use the breath to peel yourself apart. You always hear me say organic expansion, right? We're just using our breath to make space, especially off these side bodies. And then when you're ready, work your cat-cow. Inhale, arch the back, lift the sit bones, reach through the crown of the head. Exhale, round the back. Look to your belly. Lengthen those sit bones towards your heels. Your inhale, arch. Your exhale, round. Now put it with your breath, right? Link it up. So 2 or 3 seconds. How long it's going to take us to arch. 2 or 3 seconds. How long it's going to take to round. And even here, right? Think of how long that is to move through this space. There's enough time here to root the heads of the arm bones in, right? To blossom the back body, the sit bones. There's time to look to your belly. There's time to lengthen those sit bones to the backs of the knees. Right? Lots of different adjustments that we're going to make in our practice. One more. And then come to a neutral position, so find that flat back. Right? This is one of those instances where 3 seconds is a long time. Take a couple breaths here. Build up that low mountain. And then when you're ready, step back to plank. And then back to downward dog. Then first dog, bend the knees that little bit. Just soften it up. And then just like we did before, look forward. Set up the hands. Look at the arms starting to engage. Keep the forearms and the inner biceps lifting up. Keep sliding the throat forward so that the chin doesn't go this way towards the midline. And as I pull the belly and the shutters close, now I start to pedal the heel. So maybe reach that right heel down to the floor. Inhale, lift it up. Take that left heel to the floor. Let the inhale lift it up. Let the exhale reach it down. And just play back and forth in the breath. But remember the 2 or 3 second thing. Because it's easy to just get into this right now, right? We don't want to be here. That's not with our breath. We want to work with the breath. And then balance both sides out. Come to neutral. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale back to downward dog. Let that inhale come forward to plank. Exhale back to downward dog. Let's do 5 of these. Remember, 2 or 3 seconds to come forward, 2 or 3 seconds to go back, or whatever your breath is. Working through the hips here, working through the upper body, the shoulders, and the chest. Now, this is my 5th one, so when you're on your 5th, come forward to that. I'll come forward a little bit. Bend those elbows, come into that chaturanga. Come forward into that cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 breaths here. Really work those shoulders back and down. Then after the 3 breaths, lower the chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Now, if it feels good to bend those knees again, bend them. If it feels better to straighten the legs, straighten them. I go back and forth in my own practice. Sometimes I'm straightening them. Sometimes I keep them bent. It's just what feels good in the moment. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take those 3 nice breaths. You can stay low. You could come up high. Whatever the flavor is going to be. Then after the 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up, take a nice big reach. Exhale the hands by the side. Inhale, take them up. Exhale by the side. One more time, inhale, take them up. Let that right hand grab that left wrist. Take that side bend.
Here's that side body, but we want to root down from the hip so we could peel up. And then inhale, come up. Exhale the hands by the side. Inhale them up. Swap. Root down into that right heel, and then take that little side bend to the left. Don't just crunch into this left side. There's still that organic expansion. That's why on the inhale you want to peel up. Yep, and then we can go a little deeper. Inhale, come up, release the hands. Right hand goes behind your back, left hand to your elbow. Push your head back into that forearm that little bit. Yep, so you can stand up nice and tall without letting those hips come forward. And then just draw the fingers up that little bit. Intensify that stretch. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up. Swap side to. Pull the belly in. Pull the shutters closed. Yep. Push the head back into the forearm. Keep standing up nice and tall. And then draw the fingers up. One more breath. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up. Exhale them behind your back. Take a nice big inhale. Fill the ribs first. And then exhale, take those shoulders back. You can take the hands away from your back if that feels good to come up the arms a little bit. Tadasana, the rest of the pose, right? It's full on, right? Mountain pose, just with a little variation here. Feel that nice peel off the chest. Exhale, release. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, take a big reach. This time, pull the belly in and lengthen those sit bones down. Then you can curl back a little bit if that feels good. If it feels good to stay up straight, stay up straight. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold.
Inhale, look forward. Half fold. Feel the balance in the feet. Feel the engagement in the legs. Feel that connection through the core. And then maybe go ahead and dive into that pose a little bit deeper. Keep that. Inhale, look forward. Draw the fingers back towards your toes a little bit. Lengthen the spine. Connect in that upper back a little more. And then go ahead and fold into pose even deeper. Bend the knees, place the hands, step the right leg back, lunge.
Fingers are blocks.
Charge those legs up, right? At any moment that you would take your hands off the floor, you don't move, right? Because all the power is here in the legs. The hands are just going to be there to give you a connection. Start working that upper back. Yep, so feel like this way between your shoulder blades, like head to butt, north to south. And then as we keep the power of pushing down and hugging in, then we express. We reach the heel back. We reach the knee forward, reach up out of the crown of the head, and then inhale, come up, Vera One Crescent. Square that right hip forward that little bit. Pull up from the pelvic floor, right up the abdominal wall. So belly and shutters. Take it all the way up, even through the thumbs, and then maybe curl back into that pose a little bit. And then exhale the hands down, step forward. Keep the knees bent, reach the left leg back. That's it, reach out of that heel, extend that hip back. And then find where the distance is. If you have to adjust your back foot. If your knee's this way, right, we got to move back a little bit. If it's back this way, we need to bend forward a little bit. And then put the power in the legs. Hug in. So as you draw that left hip forward, it's like you're pulling into the inside of this right thigh. So keep hugging that right knee in.
heart's reaching out front, the throat sliding back. And then Vera 1 crescent. Like you're holding 20-pound weights here, right? We're coming up. Like you're squeezing the beach ball into the midline, we're hugging in. If the knee came back, bend back into it a little bit. And then as you reach up, maybe even curl back in the pose, let the back of the heart lift up through the front of the chest. One more breath. And then exhale the hands down, step forward. And the arms up, take a big reach. Maybe curl back into it a little bit. Let the inhale come up, exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. If you want to stay static, hold the pose a little more. If you want to stay more dynamic on your inhales, look forward. And then you'll lengthen, you'll feel those side bodies open up from hips to armpit, and then go ahead and exhale, fold into the pose. You can do that with every breath. Or if you're holding a little more static, it's just what you want to bring into the moment. It's not a right or wrong. One more breath. And then from here, bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog. Move through your vinyasa 3 times. Stay with your breath. Check in, right? Remember, there's a lot we can get done in these 3 seconds. Just like there's a lot that can go wrong, right? That's why we want to work through and be conscious in our practice. After your 3, we'll meet back in downward dog. Nice, y'all. Good pace. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Walk the hands to the inside of that right foot. Spin the back heel down. Now stick your butt back. Yeah, like you're trying to reach that your sit bones back to the brick wall. Now climb the elbow to the knee. Yep. Now, this left one's going to try to pop forward. Keep it rooting back. Then bring the arm in front, plug it in, sweep that bicep up along the cheek, come to extended side angle. If the hand goes down to the block or the floor, go for it. But don't lose anything that we built low. Right? Because remember, that's our foundation. Now we start opening the pose. So we're trying to open the inside of that right thigh. That's where we're going to lengthen the sit bone down. But feel, if you go too much, you're going to drive that left thigh forward. You got to work the right side of the pelvis. Now, maybe start to rotate open. And then let that inhale come up, warrior 2. And then take that arm up, palm up, slide back into that reverse warrior. There's that side body again. Notice what's going on with this leg. Is the thigh popping forward? If it is, root it back. One more breath. Inhale, come back up to that warrior 2. Take the breath. Then spin the hands down, spin that back heel up, step back, downward dog. Move through one vinyasa. From downward dog, take that breath. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. Then walk your hands to the inside of the left foot, spin the back heel down. See here, just for this extra second or 2, look how much root we get. We can really root that thigh back. Then you can bring the elbow to the knee. You still got all that support. Then you can plug the arm in, right? Still all that help that we got. Then we can start to work the pose a little bit more. Hand to the block or the floor. Rotate as top of the ribs go back, bottom of the ribs go forward. Maybe you look up. But we just play here. One more breath. Try to soften your face here in the pose. And then inhale, come up into that warrior 2. Try to keep that knee right where it's at. If it moved back, bend back into it that little bit. Bring the gaze right over your middle finger. Then the palm comes up. Remember the 2 or 3 seconds. Slow as we go back so we don't lose anything. Y'all just worked real hard for this shit. We're not trying to let any of it disappear right now. We're trying to hold on to all of it. Now take that big breath on the left side of the ribs and maybe curl back into it. One more breath. And then inhale, comes back to that warrior two. Settle into it. Then spin the hands down to the floor. Nice, y'all. Spin the back heel up. Downward dog. Move through one vinyasa. And from downward dog, exhale, lower your knees. Child's pose. So we'll take our feet together and our knees wide. And then we're going to bring our sit bones back towards our heels. And then our arms go up overhead as we soften down towards the mat.
Full breath in. Complete breath out. Again, feel those side bodies starting to peel open here. And then I've done this with almost all of you. So the idea, if you're not sure, you can just look forward. The idea is that you're going to inhale, come up. We're going to be like all fours with our knees wide. Then we're going to exhale, soften our pelvis towards the floor, right? Then we're going to inhale, push back up to like the all fours with our knees wide. And then exhale our sit bones towards our heels. So let's do it together. Inhale, come up. Exhale is going to soften the pelvis, so that's controlling it, right? We're not collapsing. Then inhale, pushes back up. And then exhale, sit bones to heels. Keep it going. Let's do 5 of these. That was 1. Soften the pelvis. Push back. And then sit bones to heels. Inhale, come forward. Your breath. Exhale, softens the pelvis. Inhale, pushes back up. Exhale, sit bones to heels. Keep it going. I think we have 2 more or so. And then after your 5th one, we'll just meet back in child's pose. Take a few breaths here. Full breath in. Complete breath out. And then when you're ready, inhale, come forward, all fours, hands and knees. Tiger pose. Inhale, take that heel to the sky. Exhale, take the knee to the chin or the chest. Inhale, take that heel to the sky like you're holding the ceiling up. Then bring the knee to the chin or the chest. Now when your knee, let's do 5. This is number 3 for me. When you're holding up, I want to hold the ceiling up like this, but keep sweeping the inner heel out. This is going to try to happen, so you got to go this way and sweep. Now after your 5, when you place that right knee down, make sure it's hips width apart. The common tendency is going to be to go to the midline. Don't let that happen. Stay hips width apart and make that hip have to stabilize itself. When you're ready, work your side too. The inhale is going to take that heel to the sky. You even look up a little bit, work the upper back, and then bring that knee towards the chin or the chest. Flexion as the knee comes to the chin or the chest, but the big one here is extension as we take that heel to the sky. Now I have 2 more. When you're done with your 5 each side, meet all fours. And it actually feels like slow motion, right? We worked on that a few weeks ago, where it feels like slow motion. It's just working with your breath, right? That's just the tempo that we should be at. Then from all fours, take a couple breaths, step back to plank. Shoulders are on top of the wrist crease. We're reaching out of our heels. Hips are up. Now, like, this is too much, right? Just like this is not enough. I want to be up here. Yep, I'm just in mountain pose in Tadasana. Keep reaching back out of your heels like you're reaching your heels to the wall behind you. Yep. Keep your throat. We've worked on that a couple times. Sliding to the ceiling, the back of the throat. What wants to happen? The chin wants to fall to the floor. You want to play a little bit? Right heel up. Take it out to the side of the mat. Touch the toe. Bring it back up. Bring it in. Touch the toe. Let's do 2 more of those. Work the abduction, not the external rotation. So lead with the outer heel. Let's do side 2. Stay with this. We only got about 10 seconds left. Stay with your breath. Yep. If you're holding your plank, lower down. If you're working your 3 extensions, when you're finished with your 3, bend the knees, lower down. Hero's pose. You didn't see that coming, did you? I don't really see a lot of this shit coming. It just felt right, so I went for it. So let's move the calf muscles out of the way. And then as you sit back, when you move those calf muscles out of the way, it's kind of a 2-for-1. One, it just gets it out of the way, so it gets the space free. The other thing is you can see how my thighs are turning in a little bit, right? That's internal rotation. That's what I want. So it kind of helps me with that. Unsickle your feet that little bit. Sit up nice and tall. Remember, the space here will be different for all of us. But everybody, the outsides of the shins will be parallel with the outsides of the mats. Sit up nice and tall. Just take the hands back a little bit. Yep. Now, you'll play wherever you want from here. We didn't do a lot of quad openers, but we've done some front of the thigh. So some of you are probably going to be able to lay yourself back. Go for it. Where to get the hip from flexion to extension, all we got to do is take our hands behind us, right? And we're already there. Now, if you're going to go back, the little trick to keep the low back safe is to keep adjusting your pelvis. So you're going to inhale, breathe up out of your waist. Then exhale, you're going to go belly to spine, pubic bone to the ceiling, or sit bones to the backs of your knees, however you want to think, front or back of the pelvis. Now the low back is safe. I can sit back. I can go back a little bit deeper. Then I'm going to do that again. And then belly to spine, adjust the pelvis. So pubic bone to the ceiling, and my low back is safe so I can sit back a little bit further. And I just keep working the pelvis to get myself down so I'm nice and safe. I go slow here. Couple more breaths. When you come up, inhale, come up nice and tall. Yep, we'll meet all 4s. And then just reach one leg back. Open up the knee and the hip. Take a couple breaths here. Pull that belly in, pull those shutters closed. And then lower that knee down. Reach the left leg back or whatever your side 2 is. And then lower it down. Take a breath here. When you're ready, step back to plank. And back to downward dog. On your breath, work through your vinyasa one time. And reach the right leg straight back, step it through, pigeon. Right knee nice and wide, and left knee in line with your hip. Supine pigeon if you need to on your back, right? Cross the ankle over the knee, work that pose. Now, same thing here. If it's easier, right, it's going to be easier to move the front knee, the back leg back a little more, right? So as I move the pose and I want to extend, I'm going to move back this way. Right? I've showed you all the trick in the past where after you let the pose open a little bit, you take the hand to the foot, right? And that's the way to work back. But you can do that right in the beginning. Just work your way back, and it'll start to get that shin a little more parallel with the front of the mat instead of trying to do this, right, where you're trying to like pull that shin forward.
And then sit up nice and tall, like breathe up. And then go ahead and fold into the pose. Yeah, nice poses, y'all. Now, this is going to try to happen. Your head's going to try to fall, right? And the upper back's going to try to round, which is why sometimes when we do upper backs, I tend to show you all this one, right? Take your arms out to the side and make pillars here, right? Then I can keep the throat, the back of my throat sliding to the ceiling, but my chest softening to the floor. And see my spine, now this looks like something that I have good relationship, spine to pelvis, right? As compared to like this or this, where the hip's collapsing out, right? Hold that good space and work the depth of the pose at the hip crease, not at your belly. So your belly look like this, and we want to go this way at the hip crease as we go deeper. One more breath. And then inhale, come up, place the hands. Take a breath. Unwind that right leg as you lift the hips, reach the leg back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Come forward, right knee to left elbow, kick the leg out to the side. Shoulders are on top of wrist crease. Spin to the inside of that left foot. Draw the left elbow back. Maybe reach up to the sky. Now power in the legs. Keep turning your bicep forward to the front of the room. Keep your left ear reaching up to the sky. One more breath. Inhale, unwind. Place the hand down. Then unwind that right leg. Keep it up. Maybe come forward to the plank with the leg up. And back to downward dog. Lower that right leg. Take a breath. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Pigeon. Side two. So see right here, as soon as I go into my pigeon, I just move back a little bit. And that helps me hold my pose where I need to be a little easier. Activate all the way from your feet. So on this left foot, you're pushing out of the big toe mound and pulling the pinky toe side of the foot back. Back foot, if the toenails are flat, you're extending. If they're curled, you're trying to hug in more, get more muscle power, muscle energy. And then when you're ready, breathe up. And if you're going to fold, go for the fold. Like, you know, if this trick works for you, awesome. You could be here. But see, we don't want to be here. So don't look at your shin. Keep looking out in front of your mat. That'll keep the spine where we want it to be. Yep, whether your arms are out to the side or whether you're down on your forearms. Right, remember, like, a lot of this stuff, the cues, they're not demands. They're just like offerings for you to feel. Does it work in your body? If it works, cool. Right? We're all the same, but we're all a little different. So there's certain things that are going to work for some of us and certain things that aren't going to work as good for some of us. Nice opener here in the back of this left hip and down this left leg. Couple more breaths here. And then inhale, come up. Place the hands, take a breath, no rush, right? As you lift the hips, unwind that left leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Then come forward, left knee to right elbow, kick the leg out to the side. The shoulders are on top of the wrist crease. Spin to the inside of that right foot. Draw that right elbow back. Right away, power in the legs. Power in that left arm. Power keeping my head, right, in my neck, keeping my head from falling to the floor. But then expressing up, looking up, spreading my fingers, and then settling into the pose. One more breath. Inhale, unwind. Place the hand down. Take that left leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Maybe come forward to the plank with the one leg. Back to the downward dog. If the leg's up, lower it down. Take the feet wide. Walk the hands back. Come to Malasana squat pose. Let your knees track your toes will be the safest. Lift your arches up. Bring some more weight to the outer edges. This wants to happen, right? So we got to go this way. And then as you hug in to engage, then push those elbows away to stretch. And drive those elbows down into your knees. Reignite the spine. Yep, and now breathe. If you want to work crow, go for it. You could lift up, place the hands. You're going to bring the feet to the midline. Then you can look forward, start getting the weight into those fingertips and the knuckle pads. The feet are going to get light. When the feet get light, you're going to pull your heels up to your butt and keep pushing your hands down into the floor. And then breathe. Right, even here, settle this pose. And when you're ready, lower down. Nice. Let's spin around in a seated position. Bend your right leg, bring it to the outside of your hip, and bring your left foot into the crease of your elbow. Same thing here, right? This is my foot sickling like this, right? Is this Tadasana? No, right? Tadasana is this. So I want to push out of the big toe mound and pull the pinky toe side of the foot back. Now, if this is too much, right, and like this is dominating the pose, then just come to here. Hand underneath the ankle and the other hand underneath the calf and see how tall I can sit up. So find what feels good to you. You need to sit on the blanket or the bolster, sit to the front of it. And then as the leg goes side to side, right, baby cradle that little bit. And then you can stay here. If you want to go Astapacrasana, you're going to lift your left leg up. You're going to take it high up on the arm. You're going to squeeze your arm between your leg as you place your hands down, just like downward dog. The right ankle is going to go over the left. Then the feet are going to go to the outside of your left hand. Then you're going to bend both elbows, and I'm going to squeeze my legs together. As I squeeze my legs together, I wedge the back of my left arm into the inside of that left thigh. And then same thing here, right? I settle the pose. I don't sit here and suffer. I'm just kind of like settle in here into that sweet spot. It went this way, didn't it? It was from here to here, right? Then to here? Yeah. That's like one of those corny little things we used to do back in the day. All right, unwind, we'll swap side two.
You're going to do goofy smile.
Yeah, you do that little goofy smile. Swap side two.
They were much simpler times.
Were they?
I don't know.
Right? I was thinking about that today on the ride over. I was like, I don't know, is it? It's just always its own level of interesting things going on, right?
I remember,
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's easy to always think like it was great when you were younger because you were younger, right? And like everything was in front of you, right? And it's like easy to think that, but like, I don't know, was it? The same crumbs were running around trying to preach the same shit, right? Like it's always going to be that battle. All right, if you want to stay here, stay here. If you want to go Astapacrasana, lift up, take the arm underneath. See, even here, right, I don't rush. I make sure that this doesn't happen because then I'm screwed. So I got to squeeze and set it all up. Then place your hands. Then here's the core. The left goes over the right, and then they go to the outside of the hand. That's where you're working the core in this pose. Then bend the elbows. See, this shoulder's going to try to do this. I got to go this way. Root it back. And then I squeeze my thighs together. And since I did it on the one side, I'll try it here. You want to go forearm, right? And then you really want to bring your elbow this way because you want your hand to come up like this. And then you got to do the silly smile. Like.
What was the cyclist before Lance that won the...
Greg LeMond?
Yeah, but he said it doesn't get easier, it just gets faster. That's life.
Yeah, it does, right? That's what my father used to tell me. He always used to be like, the second half goes faster than the first. But he said that shit when he was like 30. It's like always said it. All right, grab your mats, find a spot on the wall, go upside down. I heard somebody say to me one time, it was kind of profound. She said, life is long. And no one really says that, right? And then when you think about it, you're like, life is long. There is a lot of time here, man, right? It's just what you do at the time.
It can be long.
It can be, right? Very long. But at the same time, it can be short. So you know if you're at home, you don't have the wall to kick up on, you can always lay on your mat. Knees are bent. And then as you reach the heel to the sky, bring the hands behind the thigh and take a bunch of breaths. And you can always swap in the side too, right? Take a bunch of breaths here. I'll talk everybody into downward dog and L pose, but you could do handstand, headstand, tripod, anything that you want to work on your own. You could work your crow into your tripod, and then you could work your way back down, kick back chaturanga, kind of something like that if you want to play with. All right. If it's not your day to invert, you can always go legs up the wall, whatever feels good. So if you're going to stick with me, we'll go all fours, hands and knees. If you're going to work on your own, whenever you're ready. With me, all fours, take a couple breaths. When you're ready, lift the knees and the hips, come to that short downward dog, and then take a breath again and step one foot up the wall. And when you're ready, step the second foot up the wall. And then keeping the knees bent will be downward dog inverted, and taking the legs straight will be L pose. So remember, those are two different poses. Nice, y'all. Stare at your mat between your hands when you kick up. Yep. 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 Now kick that right heel to the sky when you go to kick up. Kick it up. Yeah. Yeah. Fire it to the ceiling. And think exhale. Yeah. Kick that right leg up. Yeah. Kick it. Extend that hip. So this is what I tend to teach y'all in the inversion, right? I tend to hit the inversion from the hips, all right, when I try to teach y'all. You got to get that back leg to go from flexion, okay? It's in flexion because it's like this, right? There's a hip crease. But what's extension? Extension's taking it to this. So I got to get it to this. That's going to get me a lot of power. That's how I get my glute and my hamstrings in it, the big muscles, right? So when I go to kick up, I want to pick a spot between my hands to stare at. That just lets your equilibrium settle, lets your mind chill a little bit, right? So you're not just like ass overhead, you're in an inversion. Then when I go to kick, see, this wants to happen. And this leg wants to sit in flexion. I got to get it to extension, so I got to go this way. Boom. Right? And when I kick that back, I kick that leg up. Now the big muscles are working, right? These are the muscles that are going to bring my hips to the sky. That's what you want to think. Yes. Yes. You feel that float? That was it. Yes. That is a huge move from what you've been working on over the past couple of years it's been, right? Dude, that's huge. That's a big move for us today, yeah. That's great. That's like, I wish I had the pocket full of magic yoga dust, right? But I don't. The magic yoga dust is just you all doing the work, right? And you get stronger and your body gets healthier and you move forward, right? That's the game. I wish it was like, poof, I'd have fixed the world a long time ago, right? Yes. That's success though, right? That's a huge success there for the day. About 30 more seconds and then we'll meet on our backs. You know, I told you all many times, right? I love watching you all practice. I love it. It's like my own practice, right? Because when you do have that moment where you have that breakthrough, it's huge. About 10 seconds or so, and then we'll meet on our backs. So, if you want to try, since we talked about it, you know, you all know me. It's not going to be a total lay around kind of practice, right? But we hit the mat a little bit more today. we tried to find that support, right? But it was still fiery. So even here, if you want to work that supported bridge, right, try that today. Some of you are going to be able to take the block all the way up. I mean, we start low and medium, but some of you are going to be able to take the block here, right? And you can see this is a pretty good back bend I have going on here, right? I have a lot of support here, but look what I get out of that support. I can really work that upper back. So if you want to try this today, set yourself up, take your block, it's going to go on your sacrum. So your sacrum is that solid part of your pelvis on the top there. Where your crack is going to be too low, and above where your lumbar spine is going to be too high. You'll feel where that solid part is on the pelvis. Now, if you want to work bridge or wheel, I'm going to talk you into bridge or wheel. But if you want to hold this supported bridge down, I'm going to hold it for the first one. Stay wherever you want to, all right? So if you're going to stay here, stay here. If you're going to work bridge, you're lying flat with the knees bent. You're feeling your heels to get the knees on top of the ankles. Start with the neutral pelvis, so belly buttons in and sacrum's flat. Take a couple breaths. When you're ready, charge the legs, fire the core, and slowly lift the hips. Come to bridge. Maybe you want to interlace your hands behind your back. Right? We've made that shape today, so maybe you want to work that. Maybe you want to go robot and keep a little more support, but take the shoulders under a little bit deeper. And then feel as you hold the belly and you hold the shutters closed, especially in this supported bridge, that you could work the back bend deeper without losing those shutters. And then one more breath if you're in bridge, slowly lower down. If you're in supported bridge and you want to come out of it, come out of it. If you want to stay here, stay here. If you're lower to the mat, take your feet wide, let your knees touch, one hand on your heart, one hand on your low belly. If you want to hold your supported bridge, you can always stay there. Nice full breath in, nice complete breath out. And then gently open the knees, reset the feet. Bring the arms along the sides. I'll talk you first into bridge here, number 2, and then wheel, those of you that want to work your wheel. So start with the knees bent. Here's where I feel my heels, just to give me that guide to knees on top of the ankles. Head and shoulders are back. The sacrum is flat, so neutral pelvis. When you're ready, slowly lift the hips. If you're going to go into wheel, if you're going to go bridge and interlace your hands, if your left pinky was under right this time, so swap it up. If you're going to go into wheel, place your hands wide and plug those shoulders back and push down to come up. Keep those knees working towards one another, not away from each other. One more breath. When you're ready, stay engaged as you lower down, or no matter where you're at. Yep, we'll all lower together. Take your time. And then the feet go wide, the knees touch. If your right hand was on your heart, now your left hand is, and the opposite hand's on your belly. Low belly. And go back to the breath. Right, I mentioned here that this is always such a powerful part of our class, right, of our practice, because we literally flip things the other way. Then open the knees and just windshield wiper a few times. When you balance both sides out, come to neutral. Hug those knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug or make a couple small circles. When you balance both sides out, come to neutral. Keep the knees bent. Let the knees fall to the right for the twist. You could take the block between your knees, which will help stack that left hip up a little more. You could take the block underneath the outside of the right knee or thigh there. It'll bring the floor up a little bit higher. But find the engagement in the belly button, so belly to spine. Find that engagement in the upper ab. The shutters are closed. If you want to take the twist even deeper, you could look away from your bent knees. Feel that side body start to twist. And then inhale, come back to center. Take a breath. When you're ready, let the knees fall to the left, or whatever your side 2 is.
When you pull your belly button to your spine, you should feel that connection to that sacrum again. You should feel it like root back. And it feels real, like your lumbar spine is starting to like expand open instead of trying to like, you lose it and it's engaging and kinking in that area. We want the extension, then we want to twist against that extension. Remember, lumbar is not really going to twist too much. It's really looking to just get decompressed, and the thoracic spine, that middle upper back, is where this big twist is going to come. And then inhale, come back to center, and do those side bodies, do those obliques. Take the legs out straight, reach the arms up overhead, spread the fingers, spread the toes, reach the arms, reach the legs. Feel all that space that you made. Hug that right knee to your chest. Interlace the hands behind the thigh. Reach that right heel to the sky. Keep trying to root the back of the left thigh to the floor. Keep sweeping the inner heel out so the toes point straight over your head. But the out seams, and now we're getting deep. That's the low leg. The out seam has to go forward though. And then bend the knee. Hug the left knee and take the right leg out. Back of the thigh to the floor. Reach the heel to the sky. So in the past, I've showed y'all that if you kind of sweep the heel this way, like towards the pinky toe, you will move the outer thigh. But there's joints there, right? And you're trying to really control this. So this, I got to sweep this way, but this I have to go out that way. Because remember, there's two joints here, right? So really, this action shouldn't be affecting this. I should be able to control that. Take a couple breaths. But it all affects each other, right? The whole thing. Bend the knee, lower down, reach both legs out, arms overhead. Take a big stretch, right? That like ankle bones connected to the shin bones, to the knee bone song, like shit's real. It does all connect, right? It will all affect one another. But that's why we move slow. That's why we concentrate as we practice, so we can make these small little adjustments and control them. And then hug the knees to the chest, take those knees wide, come to happy baby, Ananda Balasana. Keep those knees wide, wider than your shoulders. So if you're holding your feet, right, might be a little more of a challenge. The sacrum needs to stay flat. If this is happening, then I let go of my toes and I just grab the outside of my knees. For me in this pose, this is like my edge is right grabbing my toes. That's like it for me. I got to work really hard for that. Sometimes I want to work hard for it. Sometimes I just want to enjoy the pose. So I let go of my feet and I hold my knees and I feel the organic side of the pose instead of more of the muscle energy for me. It's whatever you need in the moment. When you're ready, you can hug the knees in, take the legs out straight. We'll take Shavasana. Beautiful practice, crew. Feel free to add or remove layers or props. I'm going to talk everyone through laying flat, but you're more than welcome to do a variation if you like. And here as we lay back, we'll let the legs stretch out and the feet gently roll open. The arms come along the sides as the shoulders settle back. Let your head rest back. Maybe let your eyes close. And we allow the tongue to soften from the roof of the mouth. The throat opens up. As the body gets heavy, the mind softens. It turns back to the breath. It gets light. You feel each exhale clear and remove. Make space. You'll feel the inhale draw in the change. Something new, something better, something more in tune. You'll feel the heart collecting the practice. It gets ready to move it into the yoga of life. did on the mat. We practice life. Things we learn about ourselves and about each other every day. Through our learning, we change our approach. We find the things that we need to work on a little bit more to improve. And those things are for ourselves and for each other. When those times get tough and we're unsure and they're unfamiliar, we take a breath. We set a foundation, we engage, we express the best that we can in that moment. Begin here to draw in a deeper breath, feeling the breath as it washes over the body. Your toes, your fingers, the crown of your head, your heart. We reawaken that better version of ourselves. As the fingers and the toes wiggle, maybe the arms and the legs stretch or reach, we move in a way that feels good to us. Take your time, move consciously. When you're ready, you can hug your knees to your chest and just roll to the right side. Maybe take a breath or two here. And then when you're ready, you can push yourself up to a seated position. We'll meet together with our eyes closed and our hands in front of our hearts. And one more time to seal in our practice, our time together. The sound of Om, all together. Deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. For all of that hard work, that determination, that challenge, the love and the support you always give each other, it's to you that I bow. Namaste. Thanks, crew. Super fun as always. You know, if you have any questions, get me before you go. Home crew, if you need me, you know how to hit me up. Maybe I'll see some of y'all tomorrow or Saturday. If not, I'll see you soon. Thanks, crew.